Hello everyone, Lytro Storm here, and today we'll be beginning another collab. This one will be between myself and my bestest buddy ever, Supersavage 789. I did not put that in the script. The topic we'll be discussing is what if the Z Fighters trained on Yardrat. The two of us spent a lot of time trying to think on the idea, and eventually settled on this one, so hopefully you all enjoy it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this video, as less than half of my viewers are subscribed. Also, make sure you check out part 2, which will be on Supersavage's channel. I'll link it in both the description and the comments section for you, so go watch it after this one. As always, be sure to join my Discord and follow me on Twitter. Links in the description. In this timeline, with the threat of the androids on the horizon, Goku gets an idea for the Z Fighters to do some intense training. While Trunks goes back to his time and Piccolo spills everything about the androids, Goku decides to help their odds of winning. He tells the Z Fighters about his training on Yardrat and how instant transmission wasn't the height of their abilities. He continues, saying that they could learn better techniques than he did and still get good gains while training there. While the others agree, Vegeta boasts that he doesn't need help from such weak creatures, and that he'll become strong enough on his own. He would then leave to do his own training like in canon. As I said, the Z Fighters think that this is a good idea, and so Chaozu decides to stay behind on Earth. Tenshinhan understands and lets him stay to train and protect the planet if need be. Gohan also cannot go since his mother doesn't want him off planet again. Goku thinks that this is fine, and that the two of them will train along with Chaozu until Piccolo shows back up. Goku then uses instant transmission to take the three Earthlings and Piccolo to planet Yardrat, where he appears in front of Paibara. He greets the Yardratian, who is pleased to see the pure-hearted Saiyan return so soon, asks why he's there, and Goku explains the situation, asking him to train his friends. Paibara agrees, and Goku waves goodbye as he teleports back to Earth. The Z Fighters all begin attempting to learn spirit control by meditating like Vegeta and Goku did during their time on Yardrat in canon, as shown by the manga. The people who are done the quickest would be Tenshinhan and Piccolo, since their training usually consists of meditation anyway. When the two are ready, Paibara begins to teach them techniques. Piccolo would go the simplistic route. The first thing he learns is size manipulation, since he already has some knowledge on that anyway with his giant form that he shows in the 23rd Budokai. It makes it much more effective, and now he can even shrink as well as grow, so that's pretty neat. Since Piccolo has 3 advantages, 1 being it's a simple technique, 2 being he already has some knowledge on it, and 3 being that he's ahead of the others minus Tenshinhan, he will begin to learn instant transmission as well. Tenshinhan would go a different route from Piccolo, and begin to learn a very difficult technique, the Forced Spirit Fission. He tries to learn this, as learning a hard technique will come in handy and give him substantial gains. It's also a spiritual technique which fits with the motif of his third eye. Next up to be finished with the spirit training is Krillin. When he begins learning a technique, he ends up on the healing technique. He does this as it'll be a good substitute for senzu beans if they don't have any at hand. Although it does take up lots of energy, he does get a grasp on how to do it, and even if it saves them just a few senzu beans, it'll be fine. The last person to finish his training is of course Yamcha. However, he ends up with probably one of the cooler techniques. Yamcha would learn the duplication technique, since he is the weakest of them, and so it would help him in a fight. It would also allow him to one-up Tenshinhan's multiform in retaliation for breaking his leg. When everyone has finished their training, Piccolo places 2 fingers on his forehead and teleports back to Earth with everyone in tow, arriving on the lookout. Before they all split up to train, Piccolo asks Tenshinhan for a favor. He asks him if he can split him and Nail, which he would do, separating the 2 warriors from their fusion. Nail is confused at what happened, and Piccolo briefs him on the situation at hand. Nail is then taken to New Namek by Piccolo, and begins to defend the planet once more. The training for the most part goes the same as in canon, except the humans are stronger. Goku and Gohan would have been weaker on Earth, but with Piccolo there, now much stronger, they'd probably be back at their original strength. The Z Fighters would meet up like normal and begin searching for the androids. Yamcha then runs into Gero and has a battle with him using his clones to fend him off long enough for the others to arrive. They all move to the wasteland, where Goku succumbs to the heart virus against 19. Instead of Yamcha leaving, he'd just make a clone to take Goku back, meaning that Yamcha remains on the battlefield. Woohoo, go Yamcha. Also, Chaozu would likely come along this time, as Tenshinhan's strength boost would boost Chaozu in their training, making him strong enough to show up. Naturally, Vegeta arrives, kills 19, and Gero makes his escape. When everyone begins to look for him though, Yamcha would once again utilize the clone technique. He makes a bunch of them, which would make the search effort much easier. They locate Gero very quickly, leading to him actually being killed. Bulma and Trunks arrive, where they're both briefed on the situation. One look at Gero makes Trunks realize that these are not his androids. The gang deduce that the androids must not have been awoken yet, and they can destroy them all before that happens. So after that, they're given a location by Bulma and head off to his lab. They all arrive, and after a quick search, they find the androids in their pods. Trunks raises up a hand to destroy them, but before he can, Vegeta punches him out of the lab. He hasn't had a good fight, and so he wants to test the might of the androids. He activates 17 and 18, and after noticing 16, he activates him as well. He then demands a fight. A fight occurs in the lab, similar to the roadside battle, except Yamcha is there and is taken down along with the Z-Fighters. Krillin heals Tenshinhan, Trunks, and Yamcha, and has to use Senzu Beans for Piccolo and Vegeta since they cost too much energy for him. He then also takes a Senzu Bean to revitalize himself. Piccolo teleports to Kami's Lookout to fuse with him, which is a much faster process, seeing as how they can just defuse afterward. The revelation of a second time machine is made, and Piccolo meets Cell like in canon. Vegeta and Trunks go in the time chamber, and Piccolo fights 17 before Cell absorbs him. Not much changes there. A change does arise when Tenshinhan arrives. He uses a solar flare and rushes at Cell, where he uses his spirit fission technique. Cell laughs at how weak the Triclops is, thinking that pathetic attack could work. This is until he glows and separates from 17, leaving him in his imperfect form. He begins to panic, wanting to know how this happened, which Tenshinhan doesn't reveal. He simply flies into the air and uses a Neo Tri-Beam on the imperfect being, vaporizing him completely. So heck yeah, go Tenshinhan, you did good. As everyone awaits Goku and Gohan's departure from the time chamber, Bulma begins to repair 16. They then realize that the androids aren't as bad as they first thought, and so they don't kill them, but instead allow them to go have a second chance at life. When Goku leaves the time chamber, he and Vegeta would have a fight. It leads to Vegeta getting bodied quite easily though, due to Goku having grade 4. Then Trunks goes back to the future and wastes the androids and Cell easily by firing a blast. In the 7 years, not much really changes except for Goku being alive. Since he's alive, it'd mean that he can train with Goten, which Chi-Chi would be perfectly okay with, so long as Gohan stays the way he is. Due to Goten's high potential, as well as Goku's knowledge on the form, both father and son achieve Super Saiyan 2. Vegeta would also achieve the form through his own training. Gohan would be much weaker than he was in canon, though. This is because he didn't achieve Super Saiyan 2 due to no Cell games. You could say that Goku would train him, however we find that quite unlikely, since he has Goten to train. As for the androids, 17 and 16 end up on the island 17 was on in canon. Android 18 and Krillin would still end up together, however it might take a bit longer, so Marin might be younger. The prologue of the Buu Saga plays out like normal, with Gohan becoming the Great Saiyaman and training Videl. Since he's being blackmailed into participating in the tournament, Goku decides to take the opportunity and enter as well. He'd go around telling everyone to enter, which I'm sure they would agree to. It means that Tenshinhan and Yamcha would both enter as well. Like in canon, everyone heads there and the tournament begins. Goten ends up beating Trunks in the kids division, but that doesn't really change much. Videl still gets manhandled by Supersavage, and when Kibito is fighting Gohan, both he and Yamu steal his energy. However, this would be a smaller amount than in canon. Tenshinhan and Chaozu choose to stay at the tournament to protect everyone else, so all the others leave. Babidi kills Spopovich and Yamu, Deborah kills Kibito and spits on both Piccolo and Krillin. The remaining people then head inside the ship. Vegeta would body Pui Pui, Goku beats Yakon, and Gohan steps up to fight Deborah. However, this is a very big issue, since Gohan is much weaker than in canon. So Deborah easily begins to manhandle our favorite scholar, leaving him barely able to move. Goku flies over to save him, but Deborah blasts Gohan too quickly, completely obliterating him. This angers Goku, leading him to quickly power up to Super Saiyan 2 and fire a blast, killing the Demon King. Babidi ends up trying to possess Vegeta, and it actually works. Then the remaining trio are teleported to the arena and then a wasteland, where Vegeta stares down Kakarot. He tells them about how he hasn't had a good fight in over a decade. A mere Earthling beat the person they were all training to beat, and Vegeta couldn't beat either Kakarot or a team. He just needs to embrace his evil like before. When Piccolo and Krillin awaken from their stone slumber, they begin sensing everyone's ki. They eventually sense Goku vs Vegeta, and while Krillin chooses to return to the tournament arena, Piccolo flies over to go get them. As he begins flying over though, he senses Majin Buu's revival. He swiftly teleports back over there and begins fighting Buu alongside the Supreme Kai. Just like Gohan, Buu blasts Piccolo away and people presume him dead. Then Vegeta fights Buu, ending with a final explosion that does nothing, and everyone killed by Babidi's forces are revived by Bulma. Kibito and Shin then find Piccolo and take him to their world where he begins training with the Z-Sword. The Z-Fighters all group up on the lookout and begin discussing a plan of action. As this happens though, Majin Buu uses the candy beam and begins eating more and more people across the world, worrying everyone. This gives Tenshinhan an idea. He asks Goku if he thinks that that's an absorption, which would make Goku realize what he's thinking. As Trunks leaves to get the Dragon Radar, Goku and Tenshinhan fly over to Buu and Babidi with a strategy in mind. Tenshinhan would quickly kill Babidi, which would anger Majin Buu. He tells the Triclops that he will kill him and begins attacking. Although he can't really keep up, he does his best using Spirit Fission and sends the energy towards Goku. He then siphons it and begins making a Genki Dama. After Tenshinhan lands a hard blow, Buu begins to feel funny. He holds himself as he glows and then splits into three: the South Kaioshin, the Dai Kaioshin, and Kid Buu. This confuses Goku and Tenshinhan as well as the other three, cause like where are they and what happened? Buu, however, doesn't have time to waste and begins brutally attacking South Kaioshin. Dai Kaio explains the situation to Tenshinhan and Goku before learning that this was all an accident. Recognizing Goku's large blast, Dai Kaioshin tells Goku to keep charging it as he and Tenshinhan go to fight Buu. Tenshinhan uses Spirit Fission to help amp up the Genki Dama quicker, and after a long battle, Goku says it's ready and launches the attack at Kid Buu, who begins to push it back. But with the help of the two Kais and Earthling, Goku is able to push the ball of Genki at Buu and completely obliterate him. With this success, everyone begins to celebrate. Goku senses something interesting on Supreme Kai's planet, and so he and the two Kais teleport there, where they see Piccolo training. It'd be nice to see Shin meet the two Kaioshin again. Piccolo ends up breaking the Z-Sword, and Elder Kai comes out, offering to awaken his potential. This means that we get Ultimate Piccolo instead of Ultimate Gohan. And with that, we have finished the Buu Saga. And so, part 2 on Supersavage's channel will cover the Beerus Saga all the way to the end. So make sure you go check out Supersavage's part, and also like this part if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new and you also enjoyed the video or you just haven't subscribed yet. When you're over there, maybe check out some of his content too. I don't know why you would, but as always, tell me if you liked this part, go find out what happened next, comment your requests for future videos, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.